Hi, welcome to Harmonies. My name is Denise Hurley. My guest today is Reggie Harris. Um, Welcome, Reggie.
Well, good morning to you.
So, I'd like to start this off by maybe you playing a song for us.
I can't think of anything better to do in the morning. I've
Okay,
already sung in the shower. I might as well take it a step further.
there you go.
This is a song called Better Angels. Here we stand in the middle of a great divide. It's time to deliver, but we're taking sides. And those who might lead us have too much to hide, so the world is on fire again. There was a man who once told us of a way we could be, a time of great sorrow when hatred ran free. If our better angels could guide us, said he, think of what good might be done. If we would stand up to get through the night, we find some answers, we'll make it right. Justice will flow down, freedom will ring, think of the good it will bring when we let our angels sing. Oh, angels sing. There are voices that cry out from deep in the soul. They've been there forever, they never grow old. They're hopeful and quiet, but we'll never hear them speak when we're shattered by fear. So let's stand in the middle, but what can we say? Start with compassion and keep it in play. Think it all over and we'll find a way to do what we know must be done. We got to stand up to get through the night. We'll find some answers, we'll make it right. Well, justice will flow down, freedom will ring. Think of the good it will bring when we let our angels sing. Now we can spend our time just fussing about the politics. Keep our heads in the sand. We don't see the signs, but the future's on the line. We gotta work as fast as we can. We got to stand up to get through the night. We'll find some answers, we'll make it right. Justice will flow down, freedom will ring. Think of the good it will bring when we let our angels sing. We got to stand up. Hey, hey, we got to stand up. Hey, hey, we got to stand up and let our angels sing. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. That was lovely. Really lovely. Okay, I'd like to start by talking about your career as a singer-songwriter for over 40 years, I believe you've been touring.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to 45.
45. Oh my goodness. Um, so what is it like to tour worldwide? What's that like for you?
Well, it's funny. For a person who loves to travel, it's the best of all possible worlds.
Mm-hmm.
It's been crazy and hectic. So often I'm in one city after another, sometimes for 2 or 3 days or maybe even a week. But I do a lot of different things. So over the course of years, I do regular concerts at concert halls and art centers, festivals. But I also do a lot of education and a lot of history work. So that
Mm-hmm.
takes me into schools and I just did a concert recently for a historical society. Um, so I do churches and synagogues. I find myself in all kinds of places, and yeah, I get to travel all across America, but also to Austria and England and Germany and Italy. So I think it's obviously the perfect solution to my desire to see and know everything.
Sure, sure. So, so have you been able to do some concerts during the pandemic? Have you been able to do some stuff?
Yeah, I got home on March the 8th after my
Okay,
last show, and took a couple of weeks to sort of figure out what was going on in the world. All of
sure.
us were kind of stunned, and then through the magic of technology, I've been doing online concerts since the end of March.
Very nice.
In a variety of different platforms. You know, there's
Yep.
Zoom and there's YouTube and there's StreamYard and there's um, Google Meets. So really, I have found it really fascinating that even in this time when I'm pretty much just local to my house and my community, that
Hmm.
I've been able to reach out across the world. I have people writing to me from Germany and Australia and from South America saying they watched an online concert. And in one way, the reach has just increased because people can, from their very own homes, you know, they don't have to come to a concert facility if I'm in their town or if I'm a little too far away to drive. So I've been finding it to be a really interesting way to sort of connect to the world.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, good, good. Um, Now, when you were out there in the world, did you have a favorite spot that you like to go to, or was it all your favorite?
You know, I mean, there are places that I like to visit or that I've enjoyed more than others. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, times I've been to Austria 3 times, and
Okay.
that's a fascinating country. Here in the States, I mean, there's so many places,
Yeah.
and every region is really so different. So if I'm touring in the South and I'm in New Orleans, or I'm somewhere in Louisiana, or beautiful areas like Asheville, North Carolina, or if I'm in the Midwest in Minnesota. Um, I really appreciate the regional differences and
Mm.
the difference in communities that I get to visit. In one sense, it shows me just how really diverse the world is. In the other sense, people everywhere love music, and
Yes.
uh, and I just find that great connector. You know, they say music is the universal language, and in so many ways, it really is. So. Um, I think, I thought that at some point I would develop a favorite place, and probably thinking back to all of my touring, probably one of the most unique opportunities was probably when I went to Alaska. Um,
Oh, okay.
that was stunning in a different way, but I pretty much enjoy going anywhere, and
Anywhere. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and right now I'm enjoying being at home. So
At home. Yeah. Um, and I get my sense is I think a lot of people are feeling it's not a bad thing to be home right now and just do a reset,
yeah,
for our busy lives.
yeah,
Personally, I think that, we will get back to where we were supposed to get back to.
yeah.
And this is just a good time to reset.
Well, I think you're right, and I think with this reset, we're discovering some things about ourselves. If people are taking the time, and a lot of people, I mean, obviously, this time has caused a lot of depression and a lot of upset. There's a
Sure.
lot going on in the world as well,
Yeah.
and the uncertainty unnerves people. I think, as an artist, I find this to be a really remarkable time. Since I've been home, I've written 8 new songs,
Really?
and I'm also working on another book project, and uh, making videos for a variety of different entities. So uh, I don't have a lot of time during any given day to be depressed. um,
Oh, good.
and my calendar at this point, in terms of daily activity, is maybe even a little busier than when I was touring physically.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's I'm not saying, I mean, there are days when the sameness kind of gets to me, and but
Hmm.
I go outside and take a walk, and
Yeah.
change up, get some air, um, and I'm really The other thing that is really possible during this time, during this reset, is that I have made contact with not only friends that I hadn't talked to for a long time, but with new friends in some remarkable ways. I just had a long conversation yesterday with Joe Crookston, the songwriter, and
Yep.
we spent an hour or more on the phone, and we've known each other for years, but not ever really known each other.
Right.
So we just had a really good time talking about the various aspects of our art and our connection to the world and background information. So that kind of thing is happening on a regular basis.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's one of the good things, I guess, huh? To make those
Yeah.
connections and to get to know people
Well,
more intimately than we would on the road.
and that is one of the things. I mean, obviously with touring, um, I come into a community, I'm there for a few hours, I get to meet new people, they get to hear my music, we get to share a moment of intimacy in a way. But
Yep.
after the concert, usually I'm off somewhere else, and they're continuing their lives. Uh, I think this reset has been a really wonderful opportunity to kind of zero in on the things that really we treasure,
Right.
and to have a little bit of a deeper throw. I know my own connection to music has been made more vibrant by this time, and I actually have time to actually practice. So
True. Oh, okay. I love the title that you have, The Ambassador of Joy, Hope, and Freedom. What does that mean to you?
well, essentially, music is such a deep reservoir of all of those things for me. It
Mhm.
has allowed me the freedom to live a life that really suits me
Mhm.
and to connect to the issues of freedom around the world. And joy, well, I think we're all pretty much interested in having as much of that in our lives as possible. Hope is a trickier thing, because we look around the world and we see a lot of things that make us upset, angry, frustrated. It, acts that impact our lives in ways that we can't always control what's happening. So I have embraced over the course of years uh, the opportunity to do music that just creates an atmosphere where we can think more clearly about how we reach joy in our lives and how we exercise our freedom and respect the freedom of others.
Mhm.
And with all of that being said, I find such amazing hope in the examples of people who have gone before, many of them my musical elders, but many of them just people in history who have done extraordinary things, people like Harriet Tubman, for example,
Mhm.
or Frederick Douglass, or I mean, there are just so many amazing individuals
Mhm.
who, through their pursuit of freedom, have created opportunities in the world for others. And I've always tried to use that as a framework for not only my singing and concert work, but also for what I do in my community.
Right.
And I feel like I'm part of so many communities around the world.
Yeah.
So I have a great opportunity to spread some joy and to create some opportunities for hope. So I somebody put that moniker on me a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I'm trying my best to live into it.
I love it though. I do. Um, okay. So your songs. I mean, you just mentioned you wrote 8 new ones. What is your inspiration for that?
My inspiration, as years ago, I was privileged to sit in an audience when the great author James Baldwin was lecturing,
Mm-hmm.
and 20 of the most eloquent minutes that I've ever experienced. But what he talked about was the role of the artist in seeing the world and showing the world what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And so my inspiration comes from what I see and from being an observer of events and actions and taking that in some way and trying to shape it so that people can look at it more closely. So that. the role for me really is about finding something. Something triggers, some idea comes. I don't even know what I'm gonna be writing about when I start a song all the time.
Yep.
A phrase will come to me, or just some little guitar lick. For example, that song that I just played, "Better Angels." I was
Yes.
watching a film, and it was about Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
And it was his first inaugural address where he said, "We are not enemies, but friends. We have to call on the better angels of our nature." And
Mhm.
I thought, oh, I like that. Better angels of our nature. So
Yeah.
I started to work on that, and that's where that song came from. Sitting here in my house early in the pandemic, and with all the crises rising,
Mhm.
I heard a lot of people just talking about being weary, tired, just really depressed about where things were going. And I thought about the people in the civil rights movement, people like C.T. Vivian and John Lewis, who
Yep.
just died.
Mhm.
And I thought, they often talked about the fact that as community, we have to be there and support each other.
Mhm.
And the great idea was, we're going to keep working. Our determination is going to get us to where we want to be. So the phrase "we will not rest till the storm is over" came to me, and that was the inspiration for yet another song.
Okay. It's a great way to pull from what's going on around us right now, you know? Can't
Well,
wait
I
to hear
tell
those songs.
well, actually, I've just begun to do the planning for another CD.
Okay.
So I sat the other day, I was making videotapes. My friend Greg Greenway, who helped me produce my Ready to Go CD, is gonna help me on this one as well.
Oh, good.
And we just had a conversation, so I've got about 13 songs that I'm gonna kind of work with and maybe whittle down to about 10 or 11.
Yes.
And we'll see where that goes. I'm probably gonna start recording that in September.
Excellent. Wow. Now, you just mentioned Greg, and you've been doing some collaboration with him over the years. And I guess Scott Ansley as well.
Ainsley.
Is that how he says his name?
Ainsley. Yeah.
Um, and it looks like that work is focusing on a lot of racial issues that have been going on for years, but just recently have been brought to the forefront with
Mhm.
the changes. How do you feel about what's been happening with, the protests and, the call for racial justice and all of that?
Well, it's a really remarkable time. I have been at this work for a long, long time. Uh, and, a lot of the frustration around the nation is that so much of the time this work, the racial tension and just in general, prejudice in our world um, has gone unaddressed. And
Right.
so to watch all of these protests, to watch people kind of wake up, and obviously people usually wake up when something devastating happens. It's
Right.
kind of what we humans do.
Yeah.
But I'm encouraged by not only the fact that people have been taken to the streets and all that brings, but by the diversity of the groups that are doing it. Certainly, a lot of it's being fueled by young folks.
Yes.
In this area, some of and around the world, but particularly, I know that a lot of the rallies and a lot of the protests and are being influenced and really triggered by young people. In this
Mhm.
area, there are 14 and 15-year-olds who have stepped up to lead, groups and rallies. Uh,
Mhm.
20 somethings, 30 somethings, but also older folks who, maybe have been at this for a while, or maybe who haven't realized the great injustices that have been happening. Uh, so it's a very fertile time, I think,
Yes.
and I see my role in this, and the work that I'm doing with Greg and with Scott has been focused on sort of showing a clear path to thinking about some of these things, and music is such a great way to sort of open that door.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think in so many ways, I just said to Greg the other day, we started doing our Deeper Than the Skin show about 5 years ago,
Yeah.
certainly before all of this eruption. But we really do seem to be right in sync with where things are going. And I hear from the people that we're able to, we've been doing some of the Deeper Than the Skin programs online and in various communities and with people around the world tuning in. And then we always do a question and answer at the end.
Sure.
That gives us an opportunity to really hear what's rising up for people. And we get some really amazing questions. We get very simplistic questions. We
Mhm.
get some really engaged dialogue. So I feel like this is indeed our time and a time when perhaps we can really make a difference in the world.
Nice. Yeah. Well, good for you. Good for you. Good for doing that work and reaching out to people. So we talked a little bit about, how things have been with the lockdown and everything. And you've been doing a lot of online concerts, and so you'll be continuing to do this throughout. Do you think it's something you'll continue to do when we kind of get back to some kind of normalcy,
I'm thinking
blend
that
the two?
I'm thinking that I will. It is a really different format, obviously. And as I said, the reach on going online is so tremendously inviting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you never know who. And I just saw, the last I was on Sunday with seven of my other friends. We did a Sing Out the Vote program
Oh,
for about an hour and a half. And, just singing a song and then talking about an organization that we are personally, each of us, working with to address voting rights. Um, but a large part of it was combining each other's audiences.
mm-hmm.
And so we had about 13 or 1,500 people on the concert uh,
Really?
from all over the place.
Sure.
So I think that whatever we find as normal as this pandemic reduces, whenever that happens,
Mm-hmm.
I think will need to be augmented by this opportunity to continue to reach out and make contact in places. The only thing about touring is that you can only physically be in one place at a time.
That's right.
So the prospect of having a worldwide audience at any time of the day or night is really great.
Yeah. Well, to me, that feels so unifying too, to be able to reach out to the world, especially with your message of hope and, and trying to, work out and talk about our racial differences and our any kind of differences that we have as a human society, So for musicians to be able to do that on a worldwide platform, I mean, that's amazing to me. You know?
Well, I think, in times of hardship, the human spirit rises to unbelievable heights and
Hmm.
has the possibility of doing that. And so, yeah, I think that after the initial shock of being forced into change, we find ourselves looking for that next opportunity. And certainly artists have always done that, regardless of whether it's, music or dance or visual arts, poets. So I think in this sense, many of us have found our grounding and um,
Hmm.
and our audiences are often more creative than they think they are.
Mm.
So I think the thing I love about the music that I get to do and the programs that I get to do is that uh, I love when people come up after the concert and say, sometimes they say, I wasn't even going to come tonight because I didn't feel well, but somebody said to me, I looked at your website and you looked hopeful. And then they'll say, and they'll tell you some story about the life and something that they're carrying.
Hmm.
They'll share some little personal thing that they probably haven't really told anybody else. And the chorus of singing and singing together, which I think is another important part of all of this, opens them up to a new opportunity in their own lives to maybe make a little shift.
Yep.
And that's the kind of thing that moves our world to the place where we need it to be. So I always say I never go into a concert thinking at this point, here's what I want people to go home thinking. I think my job is to share what it is I have
Mhm.
and to then let that speak to people in whatever way that it does. And we draw a little closer together, but the real impact may not happen for them for a month or 6 months or maybe even a year. One of the things I love about education is that I'm constantly planting seeds, and I have no idea how they're going to grow.
Right. Right. So, okay. All right. So, how do folks find you?
Well, it's pretty easy on my website. It's reggieharrismusic.com. And I'm on YouTube and I'm on Vimeo and I'm pretty easy to locate.
Okay.
But you can just go on my website, reggieharrismusic.com, and you can find out probably more about me than you want to know. Um, and I will continue to, put videos out there and to, pop into, Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, uh,
Mhm.
at Reg Music Man on Twitter.
Okay.
So try
All
to
right.
make myself very easy to find.
Very easy. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on my show. I really appreciate the talk and the little chat that we had. And then, if you don't mind, would you close out the show with another wonderful song of yours?
I would love to. Here is one of the new songs.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
this one I wrote about a month into the crisis. And so thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
We will not rest till the storm is over. We will not lay this burden down. We will keep each other strong. We will love and carry on till we stand all together on solid ground. We will not rest till the storm is over. Hey, we will not lay this burden down. We will keep each other strong. We will love and carry on till we stand all together on solid ground. It's been a long, hard journey on a winding road. So many have gone before us. They carried a heavy load, but they went there singing as they made their way. Now it's in their footsteps we follow as we work today. We will not rest till the storm is over. We will not lay this burden down. We will keep each other strong. We will love and carry on till we stand all together on solid ground. I know that you're weary. We all feel the pain. Sometimes the actions of the world will try your soul again, but I believe there's a better day, and it's coming our way. That's why we're raising our voices as we work today. We will not rest till the storm is over. Hey, we will not lay this burden down. We will keep each other strong. We will love and carry on till we stand all together on solid ground. All around us there's hatred. All around us there's fear. Violence touches our lives and the message is clear. We mourn our martyrs. In our hearts they'll stay. Then we'll sing, we shall overcome and go on our way. We will not rest till the storm is over. We will not lay this burden down. Hey, we will keep each other strong. We will love and carry on till we stand all together on solid ground. Till we stand all together on solid ground. Till we stand all together on solid ground.
Oh, Oh my goodness, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Reggie. I appreciate you being here. I wish you all the luck, and and we'll see you again. And maybe I can bring you back to our music series at some point. I would love to do that.
Well, I'd love to come.
You know, maybe next year when things are, I'm hoping by next year. Okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. If we would stand up to get through the night, we find some answers, we'll make it right. Justice will flow down